What does that even mean, Bowers Game Corner?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review, and today I'm very excited to check out Skip-Bo. This is for 2 to 6 players, ages 7 plus. It'll take, I don't know, about 35 minutes to play, somewhere in that range. And in Skip-Bo, you're going to have a big old stack of cards, numbered 1 through 12, with the occasional Skip-Bo card sprinkled in, and you're going to be trying to get rid of all those cards. You're going to do that by playing cards in numerical order in one of 4 piles in front of you. But this game has some odd twist in the fact that there's a Skip-Bo, which can be a wild, and also the fact that you're going to have 4 discard piles in front of you, and you can kind of position your discard piles the way you see fit. Skip-Bo, it's an oldie, but is it a goodie still? Let's open it up, and we'll see how this one aged. Alrighty then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Skip-Bo. So first and foremost, we have our handy dandy rule sheet. This is an older version of the game. Mine's a really long rule sheet. No pictures, no colors, no illustrations, but it's a very well done rule sheet, and it should have you up and running in no time at all. I imagine the newer rule sheets are even better, which I don't know how they'd improve them, but still, very well done rule sheet. So in Skip-Bo, you are going to have a big old stack of cards right here. The first one will be face up, the rest of them will be face down, and what you're trying to do is to get rid of all of these cards. If you can get rid of all of these cards, then you will be the winner of the game. It's not going to be that easy though, because everyone else is going to be trying to do the same thing, and you're not always going to be able to play the cards from here. So when you first start the game, each player is going to get one of these stacks of cards. If you're playing with more players, there'll only be 20. If you're playing with less players, there'll be 30. If you want a shorter game, you can play, I don't know, 10 to 15. So me and my wife do that from time to time. You're going to have the rest of the cards put right in the center here, and each player is going to get dealt 5 cards. So I got a 2, 2, 10, 11, 12. Not a particularly good hand, especially at the beginning of the game. So what you're going to be doing is you are going to be playing as many or as few cards as you want to on your turn into 4 piles that will be around the Skip-Bo, the main Skip-Bo deck in the middle. So you have one to the north, east, south, and west. And they have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then finally 12. Once they go to 12, that pile of cards is removed, put into the discard pile, and you can start back up with a 1 right there. Along the way, all 4 of these piles can be completely different numbers. So this one might be a 1, a 6, a 9, an 11. That's perfectly fine. So you guessed it, all the cards in the deck are going to be 1 through 12. And there are also going to be, I believe, 18 magical Skip-Bo cards, which count as wilds, which you can play as any number that you see fit. So, how do we play the game? I'll just run you through a couple rounds and you'll see exactly how it works. So I start off, I got 5 cards in my hand. There's no 1s out there, unfortunately, so I'm in a little bit of a pickle right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to discard 1 card down to here. Now, this is a very important rule. You always have to discard one of your cards out in front of you. So you can have 4 score piles in front of you, 4 discard piles in front of you like this. And you have access to these 4 additional cards, which in the later game is going to make playing cards much easier because you'll have a 10, 11, a 12, a 2 down here. Not to mention, you'll also have 5 cards in your hand. But here's the catch. If I have this 11 and this 2 right here, I can only play the 2. A little bit like solitaire, I have to get rid of this 2 before I can even touch this 11. So there's a lot of strategy in how you play your discard pile out here. So let's go through a couple rounds and you'll see how it works. So right now, I'll put this 12 down here, and that would be the end of my turn. I draw back up to 5, and bada boom, I'm done. And I'm in a really bad position right here. It comes back to me, and once again, I'm a little bit screwed because I cannot play a 1, so I might put this 11 right here because I know most of the time I'm going to want a 12. I'm probably going to want 11 beforehand, and I would draw another card. Now, we're going to fast forward a little bit so you can see a little bit how it works. So we'll put a 2. And we'll put a 6, and we'll put a 5, and heck, we'll even put a Skip-Bo right here. And we'll just pretend that's whatever number we need it to be. So, gets back to us. It's our turn. We got 5 cards right here. All right. Oh, we got a 7 right here. That's delightful. We put the 7 right there. We immediately flip over this card, and bada bing, it's a Skip-Bo. That really helps us. So now we have to decide where do we want to put this Skip-Bo. So we have a 2, a 5, a 7, and we'll pretend this is we'll pretend it's a 8. So we'll say, what do I want to do here? We'll just put it, I guess, right here. So that counts as an 8. Now we have a 1. That's unfortunate. We can't play a 1. And it looks like our turn is just about over. We could play this 6 and 7 if we wanted. But here's the thing. It's good because it's going to let us draw 2 additional cards, which might be good cards. But at the same time, it might be bad because someone else might have an 8 in their pile. So you really need to be cognizant of what is in everyone else's pile. At this stage of the game, I might say, yeah, whatever, 6, 7. I have to discard 1, so I'll put this 10 down here, and then I get to draw 3 more cards, and they're not particularly good cards. But anywho, you're going to continue to go until someone has completely run out of cards, at which point they will be the winner of the game. Now, there's one more big rule with Skip-Bo, which is if you are able to play all 5 of the cards in your hand, then you get to draw an additional hand of 5 cards, and then you get to play as many of those as you want as well. And if you play all of those in some crazy scenario, then you would once again get to draw 5 more cards. But always remember that you have to discard 1 card down here at a bare minimum to one of your 4 discard piles. But that, in a nutshell, is how Skip-Bo is played. Alrighty then, Skip-Bo. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First, on the con side, game's not going to be for everybody for a couple different reasons. First and foremost, this is a very luck-driven family weight game, which is going to be a turnoff for some people. If you have a lot of good cards or a lot of cards in good order in this pile, or maybe a lot of Skip-Bo cards, then chances are you're probably going to win. If you have like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 4 or 5 Skip-Bo cards, you're probably going to win. So that's going to be a turnoff to a lot of people. Also, you will come into situations in this game, sometimes quite often, where there's just nothing you can do. It's just like, oh, I'm just going to discard a card, and whoop-de-doo, that's a lot of fun. Or there'll be times where there is stuff you can do, but it doesn't benefit you, it just benefits other people, so you're just like, I guess I'm just not going to do anything on my turn except for discard, and that will happen pretty frequently. But luckily, the game goes by very quickly, so it's not a huge deal, but it is going to bug a lot of people when it's just, like you saw in the middle part, if you watched the middle part, it was just my turn, it was just like, I can't do anything. Oh, I can't do anything. I can't do anything. I had to cheat just to make it so I could do anything. That will be a turnoff to some people. So no artwork, very light family game. The games feel samey with a lot of players. The games can drag. I highly recommend playing with less cards in your deck if you're playing with a larger player count. Also, playing this after playing, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of newer games, I feel like there's just something missing. There's just like a little tiny quirk or something that was missing in this game. Maybe like an additional sort of wild card that did something crazy. I don't know. But if they did a new edition of this game like they did with, say, Sorry, I would love to see maybe some new cards implemented into here. I think that would really put a little spice and a little life into the game. But moving on to the pros, Skip-Bo surprisingly has stood the test of time, and I really enjoy this game. Despite the fact that I said it was luck-driven, I feel like of the big-name classic games, like your Uno, your Skip-Bo, your Phase 10, this one still has the most you can do to mitigate your luck with the 4 discard piles in front of you. And I always thought that was such a cool concept when I was a kid, and now, having played hundreds and hundreds of hobby games, I still feel like it's a really cool concept that I'd love to see in a gamery-style game. It's just really neat that you don't just discard cards, you have this discard in front of you, and you can put 4 different piles. So maybe you want to have a pile that's all 3s, or maybe you want to put them in order, so when you can get hot, you can go 10, 11, 9, 2, 10, 11, 12, or like, there's just different strategies that you can do with the discard pile. Now, I'm playing this up big time because it is a very light, simple game. There's not crazy things you can do with it. But I know that when I was younger, my uncle always had this thing where he would never play Skip-Bo cards until near the end of the game, and he would have like 5 Skip-Bo cards in his discard pile. It'd be like Skip-Bo, 10, 11, Skip-Bo, 1, 2, 3, 4, draw more cards, do this, do this, do this. And he won a lot of the time by doing that. And it creates like this little push your luck aspect if you put the Skip-Bo cards down there. I'm just saying there's more to this game than you might see at first sight, and that's why I feel like this game stands the test of time. I still think it is a great, not a good, a great light family game. It's very easy to learn, it's very easy to teach. I think you can teach this to kindergartners. I say that because I've played this with kindergartners, and they had a blast with it. It's not going to bore you too much. It's not going to scare off Grandma or Uncle Rick, who don't like to play all those fancy games you got. And for that, I can recommend Skip-Bo. I enjoy it. I think it is a rock-solid family game. Is it something I'm ever going to bust out at a game night? No, of course not. But it's still a great game to have in your collection if your family doesn't play, hobby games like Hobby Gateway games, or if you're hoping to work with kids with numbers, because I think it does that as well. So overall, Skip Bo is one that surprisingly stands the test of time, and I can recommend. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below in the comments below. Let me know, Skip Bo, Uno, Phase 10, which one you got? Battle Royale, which one would you rather play? For me personally, I think it's Skip Bo, then Phase 10, then Uno. I don't hate on Uno, but it's just, I feel like it's so much more luck-driven than either of the other ones. But yeah, I guess Phase 10 is really super lucky as well. But I do like Phase 10, just, I don't know. Skip Bo, Phase 10, Uno. That's my order. What's your order? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know if there's another big fourth card game that I'm missing as well, because that's the only three that I can think of off the top of my head. But as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.